Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Ashley Bledsoe. I'm marketing director at Side. And here we also have Joe No, who I'll let intro himself in a second. We're very excited to go through some key features of the website with you today and really encourage, because we want there to be a level of interactivity here, to ask questions in the chat because I'll be monitoring it. So Joe, take it away.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here today. So my name is Joe No, senior product manager here where I'm really focused on the growth stack. My goal is to help you grow your careers and businesses. And today we're just going to focus on the websites and how you could grow your websites there. So some key takeaways I want you to have after this session is, learning easy ways to boost your site's SEO, optimizing your page efficiency by conversions and conversions by having a clear goal on every page, maximizing your paid marketing with custom landing pages, and amplifying your online presence by using your blog to share quality content.
As
So,
you all know, oh, sorry. As you all know, we constantly refer to your website as your storefront online. And there's some core components of it that we believe are probably not as widely known as they could be. And so that's the point of sharing today. We want to have those key takeaways that we're going to go through with you, but we also want to make sure you're fully aware of all the robust capabilities that are available on the back end and the admin panel of the website. So now, Joe, you go.
so for the first part of this, I'm actually going to demo how to create a custom page on our platform. And, Ashley, do you want to give a little background of like what it is we're going to try to recreate today?
Yes. So I've had partners approach me about all kinds of different initiatives that they're taking on. You're all, and associates as well, you're all so engaged in your community. And if you're going to be doing different events, for instance, I had a partner approach me and say that they wanted to focus on a first responders program where they actually, for first responders that have been working with them, give a portion of the proceeds from each transaction back to some nonprofit organization. And that's a perfect opportunity to leverage your website, create content, make sure people are coming to the site, they're engaging with your brand, and you're offering a unique value proposition. So based on that conversation with that partner, that's what we're going to go through today is an example of building out that first responders page.
Awesome. So I'll take it from here. I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. For this case, once you log in, you'll see your dashboard. Your dashboard will look similar to this. So you'll log in by going to your website's domain, and then you'll add the /wp-admin. And once you're there, I'll go ahead and log into Side Demo. Well, actually, I'm already logged in. It'll ask for your credentials, and you'll log in with your G Suite account, actually.
Yeah.
So, we're on the dashboard. You'll go ahead and navigate here to the Pages section and just go ahead and click Add New. And so for today's exercise, let's pretend like, are there any SoCal agents out there? Anyone from San Diego? We're going to create a first responders. We're going to create a first responders landing page for La Jolla. And notice how I focused on La Jolla. The whole goal here is to be very hyper-focused on certain neighborhoods or areas you want to cover. Trying to own the market for all of San Diego is pretty hard, but really targeting La Jolla, that's where it's at.
I had a really great quote in the last session where somebody says the riches are in the niches. I think I always say niche, but and so there's real value in being very concentrated in your content. So again, that's why Joe's focusing on La Jolla today.
Yeah, and some pro tips here. So, it's really daunting to start from scratch on like a page like this. So what I like to do is actually create an outline of some of the things I want to get across here, right? So for this, I kind of have built out like a wireframe of all the things I want to cover. So I'm going to start going through that process with you now. So the first thing I want to do is, let's give a title to this page, right? So let's go ahead and go La Jolla First Responders Program.
This in the side backend when you're on the website, these are what we call blocks. So you can use the different blocks to create a look and feel on your page. And so Joe's using a title block here in this instance.
Yeah, you'll notice as soon as you enter in that title block, it'll automatically generate a URL slug for you right here. If you don't like that, you could always modify it later. But for the purpose of this, let's just run through it quickly. So, I always like to start off with, I'll click on this plus box, and we'll always start with this main block. You can think of this main block as like the hero image, right? Whenever you land on a page, there's a really nice photo at the beginning. So I'll go ahead and click on this pencil. And so I'll reference back my my worksheet here that I'd created. So it's like, great, let's copy and paste. So
no creativity on the fly.
No, not for this session. It is very daunting to think about all this ahead of time. So, the first thing I like to do is just start looking at the preview. So I'll go ahead and click on preview, open a new tab, and it'll actually start generating this. So right now it looks really plain. It's just a gray background. There's nothing to it. So let's start building it out, right? You got the option to have different backgrounds. So I love having an image. So I'll go ahead and click on block type image, add image. And I really like this photo that I have of San Diego. So now let's keep previewing this, right? We'll refresh. Let's build out our page and check the progress. So it's looking pretty good. I really wish though that this image wasn't so dark. So we have an option for that actually. So let's go ahead and change that overlay. Instead of being a full overlay, let's do a partial ribbon. And
so
it automatically goes to the bottom.
Yeah. This is a new feature that was recently rolled out based on a lot of requests, which is you have all this beautiful photography and you want to be able to showcase it in a more prevalent way. So Joe's team actually made it so that now the dark overlay can just, as he described it, be a ribbon at the bottom. And
yeah, so let's go ahead and look at that preview.
And let me just answer a couple of questions that have come in, Joe. One, Adrian, you get to this by going to, if your URL is realestatecompany.com, it's realestatecompany.com/WP-admin.
WP-admin, yeah.
WP-admin, put that in the chat, Matthew, WP-admin. And Marette, yes, this is only for 2.0. So even more of a reason to get migrated over. Cool.
Cool, and you can see this is starting to look really nice, right? You've got this little title at the bottom, but you've got this hard line. Some people like that, some people don't. You definitely have the option to go ahead and fade that in, so it's a much smoother experience. Notice, looks great. There's no hard, harsh line there. So let's continue building out our page. So now that we have this, the next thing we'll do is let's go ahead and add let's refer back to our notes. Feature real estate. Great. So what I'll do is I'll click Browse All, and I'll add a main content block. So what this does is, oops, it accidentally appeared to the top. So we'll actually move that down by clicking on this Move Down button. So now we can just go ahead and start building out this page by copying and pasting again.
And as you can see, you're building out a web page, no coding required. It's all very visual for you to put all of these elements together.
So as we scroll down, the page is starting to get form. If you want, you could inspect, and this will actually show you what the mobile view looks like. So our pages, our websites are actually mobile responsive. They'll automatically scale to the screen size that people are viewing it on, whether it's phone, tablet, giant 40-inch desktop monitor. It's all there for us.
Yes, we built these sites with mobile first in mind. I think Ed said in the session yesterday, right around 55%, 58% of the traffic we're seeing tends to come from mobile. And of course, that number is just going to increase. So you just want to make sure when you're putting content on your site, it has a really beautiful mobile experience.
Exactly, exactly. And also, when it comes to search engines are actually prioritizing mobile experiences first now. So that's also something to keep in mind. So great, we're moving along. So next thing we have are these stats. We've got this really cool feature where you can start adding stats to your site as well. So you'll go ahead and click here, browse all, let's type in stats. And the whole purpose of stats block, you'll see, is you will have the opportunity to just brag about yourself. Like, what are some cool metrics that you want to tell people? Like, I know what I'm doing, basically. So, in this case, we're not going to do that.
My favorite use of the stat block is somebody, I think it was Artemis Real Estate. They did over 1,000 champagne bottles delivered. That was a very good, clever use of the stats block.
Yeah, that's awesome, though. It's not just the boring, transaction sold, sale price to list price. So it's got some personality. So there's a chance for you to personalize your site. So as you see, during the stats block, I'm going through adding a title. I'm adding some text. And you'll see the animation. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'll actually refresh the demo page so you can see what I mean.
I'm going to answer a couple questions while you're doing that, Joe. One, Kiana, you currently have access to create as many custom pages on your site as you want. So that ties back with Jason's question. So there are no limits to the amount of landing pages you can generate on a site. And you can also create blogs today on the site. Core content on the site, still something that you request via through the business manager and working with TSS. So let us know if there's something about that you want to alter, but we just have specific elements of the site that we want to make sure works with all the integrations that we've connected with it. And then how and when does the migration to V2 occur? Aaron, the business manager will let you know. If you're on V1, your business manager will have a handle on when we can get you over to V2. Love putting people on V2. It's a fantastic product, as you're all seeing here today.
Yeah, and I'm a part of that project as well. If you're excited, go ahead and let your business manager know this is something you're excited about, because we don't know until someone tells us. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and show you what this.
Go for it, Joe.
What is that, Ashley? I'll scroll down to the stats block, show you what it looks like. So there, we've got the first responder stats, families helped, client savings, and years you've done this. So it's looking pretty good. So let's keep on building it out. So the last part is, FAQs, who qualifies for our program. So we'll go ahead and add another content block there.
And again, it's all very clean, all visual. Can't emphasize it enough. No coding required. Joe has all the coders on his end to make these beautiful blocks, so it's easy for you to put a landing page together in just a couple minutes.
Exactly. And go ahead and answer some questions while I go ahead and copy and paste things into here.
Awesome. So yeah, everyone keep engaging and adding questions to the chat. Can we do domain forwarding to the landing page? Yes, if you set up a landing page and you want to have a specific URL redirect to it, you absolutely can. So Jason, totally. And then Samantha Tove, I love you too. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for saying that.
Thank you. So
they just met you.
So now we've got our FAQs. We're building this out. Some people like text center align. I personally like my text left align. So I'll go ahead and select it, click left align. And I'll go ahead and clean some of this up. So then let's preview it again.
And obviously, it's taking us longer to put this together because we just want to slowly demonstrate the blocks to you so that you have a handle on what's available. But again, you could whip up a landing page for an event or for a program that you're doing or for anything really in a few minutes.
Yeah. So this page is looking pretty good, but one thing it's really missing is like there's no call to action, right? Like how do you get people to contact you about this? So let's make sure on every page that you create, you have some sort of form for them to submit and contact you by. So I'll go ahead and click on this plus button again. For this, I'm going to use the main block one by one. It's got multi-purpose here. So in this case, what did I use as a header? Use image from contact form. I will actually click down here on has modal. That'll give me the option to select different types of forms. We've got a couple of pre-populated forms here. So in this case, I'll just click on contact. So the cool thing about this though is once you have this, you could actually select where the lead routes to. So by default, all the leads route to the main partner. But if you create custom pages, you could actually choose who that leads to. So in this case, let's choose Ashley as the beneficiary of this page. She'll get the leads to this. So let's go ahead and preview that.
Awesome. So this is a really key component. This is a really key component for the site that he chose me as his team member. So it routes all the leads that come through go to my CRM. So I actually have the contact form on the site, and now the routes go directly to me.
So let's go ahead and build this block out a little bit more. Let's add a little header, subheader. And it's pretty boring with just like that gray background. So let's choose an image. So I'll go ahead and check my media library.
Beautiful. I'm going to answer a couple questions, bro.
Go for it.
So one question, Kiana, if you are not seeing, if you're saying you're not allowed to access that page, then that's a permissioning issue. So message Bathia and let her know so that we can make sure you have the right permissioning set up. And then Dave Fratello wants to know, is it saving as you're going through and doing this, Joe?
No, so you'll notice up here there's this save draft button as you're going through it. Sometimes if I'm deep in thought, I'll click on this after every block I complete. Just to save my place. There is an auto recovery, but it's not 100% fail safe. So, there's a save draft. I would always click on that.
Yeah. So there is auto recovery, but it's not 100% fail safe. So yes, please continue to use save drafts. And then keep going, Joe, and I'll get to a couple more questions in a second.
All right. So I think we've built out our page. So let's take a look at it. This is your new First Responders Program landing page. You'll scroll down. You've got some content here, some stats, some additional questions to let them know what it's all about. As they scroll down, there's a contact us button. So if they click on that, form pops up. Once the form's submitted, these leads will go to Ashley and end up in her Copper instance, actually. So she'll get an email notifying her as well.
And then from there, because they came through, they will be put on a drip campaign. So just know that that's the entire flow. I also just want to add, as part of showing you this demo today, because we're going to talk about blogging in a second, just recognize that, and here's the beautiful mobile version that Joe's demoing for us. Looks great. So again, all these blocks are meant to look great across multiple devices because mobile is just so crucial, and giving people a great mobile experience makes them spend more time on your site engaging with your brand. So the key part here is also you can spend a lot of time tinkering and building content, but just don't forget to actually distribute this great content that you're pushing out. So what we would advise this agent is, one, go share about your First Responders program on LinkedIn using the page. You're driving people back to the site, and they're also now being retargeted with your brand. So even if they don't fill out that form and the leads don't end up in my CRM because no one submitted, I at least am now seeing the brand everywhere because I've gone to the site. Also, be very open to repurposing content. So take the content that you're willing to share on LinkedIn, and maybe you'll phrase it a little bit differently, but share it on Facebook, personal and business, and share it, tweet it out if you're on Twitter. Just make sure that, share it in an email. Just make sure you're getting that content distributed while you're spending all this time and effort actually like building it out. Joe, do you have anything to add about this before? Because I have some more questions from the group.
Last but not least is just how to publish this, right? Like there's a big publish button up here. You could decide when to publish it, either immediately or schedule it. But yeah, for this purpose, I'm just going to click on that button and we are live to go, and you could share it like what Ashley just said. But yeah, now's a great time to take on some questions.
Awesome. So a couple questions. You can create these pages, Aaron. Subdomains are still built out from the side team, but you can create these pages. We do, and you had a question down here. Is there a place to add Google Analytics? We can give you visibility into your Google Analytics. We default add Facebook pixels to the site as part of our launch setup process. So chat with Aya offline, and we can share that with you. So we make sure that that's available. And then Justin, how do you optimize SEO for companies that have common names that may bring up many different search results? That's an interesting question, Justin. So one thing about Google is it's very intelligent, and it realizes if, for instance, we have an Aspire real estate in Northern California and somebody in Southern California, Google oftentimes will actually have a sense of, if you're searching locally, giving you results that are going to be actually beneficial to you. When I'm in Virginia, I'm originally from Virginia, and I do a search, that experience and my results that I get are very tailored to the fact that Google knows I'm in Southern Virginia versus when I'm doing a search in San Francisco. So that's one aspect. When you have a common name, one, constantly put out content that links it back to your geographic location, but also just know that Google has a way of knowing what people are searching for and making sure it's location based. Kevin Schwartz, I see at the top of my site, I now have the new tab where I can create a post media listing. What is the ad listing about? Is this the same as a property website or a featured listing? Do you want to answer that, Joe, before we go into blogging?
Yeah, let me try to figure out what he's asking about real quick.
He wants to know about the pocket listing.
Oh, yes. What about pocket listings?
He wants to know what that is.
Oh,
Kevin.
Pocket listings. So pocket listings are similar to, the phrase that's used in normal brokerages, pocket listings of like, these are listings that aren't technically on the MLS yet. And these are listings that you want to share within your team. That's one use case for it. Another use case is creating a pocket listing to display, prior properties that are no longer listed on the MLS, but you still want to showcase them as like, hey, these are some of the type of properties, some of the type of clients that I've done in the past. Hopefully that answers your question, Kevin.
Yes, that is great. Can we have leads feeding to any CRM, Joe?
Right now, we have a very tight relationship with Copper. They are our main CRM that we provide to everyone who joins, side. But yeah, that's to have this tight integration from website to lead management to CRM, we kind of needed to make a default path for everything. Yeah.
So at today, but again, continue to give us feedback. We have actually a voting process internally on product features. Joe looks at it weekly with his team so that we can hear what your business needs are. So just know that that's available to you. That can always be channeled through your business manager. Awesome. Joe, is there anything you want to talk about before we move on to blogs?
No, let's jump into blogs. We got 20 minutes left, so I definitely want to give time for everyone to ask questions at the end because I'm sure people are interested. So let's talk about blogs, right? Blogs are a different type of custom page you can create. So in this case, do we have any folks from Texas online? Any Houston folks?
Yes,
So what
definitely
I've
have
actually,
Houston.
all right. So going back to like focus strategy, right? So for me, I'm going to create a blog post about the top 5 coffee shops in like the Montrose district in Houston, Texas, right? And
I made him do
the
this, by
whole
the way, everyone, because I'm obsessed with that neighborhood. Visiting half in Houston, Montrose. I think that's how it's a really cute neighborhood if you ever go to Houston.
and they have a ton of great coffee shops, as I found out, right? So as I'm building this out, I'm not going to start this from scratch just because it's really time consuming, but I'm going to pick it up from like part of the way there. So the goal here is you want to build these relationships with your community businesses. Like that's what you're all about. You're stewards of the community. So this is a great chance for you to you know give shout outs and spotlight other businesses, and hopefully they reciprocate that back to you as well in the future.
It also has a benefit of there's this concept in SEO called backlinking. So if you're showcasing local businesses on your site, they aren't on the newest iteration of the site, but Arrive Real Estate is really great about showcasing local businesses. It's going to be even easier for y'all when you're on 2.0 to showcase these businesses. Then ideally, what ideally happens is then they will showcase and maybe link back to your website from their site, which gives your website even more credibility to the search engines. So just wanting to share that little tidbit about, it's all about reciprocity.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and show people, this blog post that I created about, some of the cool coffee shops in my neighborhood, right? We've got some photos here, exterior shots of the drinks themselves in a menu. And then you'll notice here, I have a link to their Yelp page as well as a link to their business site as well as the address and a quick little blurb about it. So that's basically what I've done for each of these sites. Fix Coffee Bar looks great. Looks like it's got a great place to study or just hang out.
I love
And
Fix.
then
Love Fix.
and then we have Agora, and you notice I was able to play around with different layouts as well. So let's go ahead and do that for one more. So what I've actually done is I've got one more coffee place called Inversion Coffee House. So I'll go ahead and click on this block. And so let's go ahead and do a photo gallery, right? Let's go ahead and look at our media gallery and look at some of the options for inversion. So I actually haven't uploaded those files yet. So I'll go ahead and click Upload Files, select Files. And we'll go ahead and add that.
Somebody
And
said
one key,
super nice about Montrose. I would live there. It seems
nice,
really great.
looks really cool. So one thing you'll notice here is for each of these images, this is how you boost SEO as well, right? I just uploaded these images, but I haven't added any alt text, captions, descriptions. This is like the little stuff that could really boost your SEO clout, basically. So in this case, I'll go exterior of inversion coffee.
And also while Joe is sharing this about the alt text, I want to note there's a reason we didn't do Houston coffee shops. That's just way too broad. There's a reason we didn't do San Diego first responders program. When you're the riches are in the niches. When you're narrow, it's going to help you rank because you'll come off specialized, and it's a lot easier to rank for these more specialized terms than to go super broad, which is one of the things that we talk to you about when we're like helping stand up the sites for you. So just know that there's value in being specific.
Yeah, so the cool thing about these blogs, though, is you'll have access to almost all the same block capabilities that WordPress provides. So if you've used WordPress in the past, you'll know that they've spent a lot of time and effort, really making it a very customizable experience, right? So in this case, I've entered in a photo gallery. Now I'm going to drop in a paragraph block. I don't know why I keep skipping to the top, but no, we'll go ahead and copy and paste from here.
Awesome. Somebody wants to know what the Yoast SEO plugin that's being displayed is, Joe.
Oh yes, so Yoast SEO. This is a tool that we sign everyone up for. You'll notice as I start building out this page, it'll actually give me advice on how to improve the SEO value for that. So in this case, this gives you a preview of what it looks like in Google on the mobile as well as desktop view. You'll notice down here in the meta description, I've actually added quite a lot of meta description there. Notice how it's focused on not only Houston, but it also goes into Montrose and calls out each of the different coffee shops there. So this is where you get that, you start building that value. This is how you signal to Google and like their crawlers that, you know, the content of your site is important and relevant. And so as you scroll down, more tips.
So it is enabled for you to use on the back end of your site. And then we got quite a few questions about videos, but let's keep moving on with the blog and then we'll tackle those. So I see you all. I see all your video questions.
All right, so I'll just wrap this up. It seems like everyone understands how I'm creating this, and we can start answering questions. So in this case, I'll go ahead and grab the rest of this content. Control C.
I also just want to give a shout out here because you all took a quiz before you joined, and one of the questions was what actions positively impact SEO? Good job on everyone that didn't say photos of your pets. Y'all are just like SEO wizards over here. I love that the main one that people selected was focused, original content people want to read, and that ties back to focus, original local content. So not super broad, local.
And so, yeah, this is just a quick overview of what we just built right here in this session. So now you can see Inversion Coffee House, you've got links to their site, more links to their site. And the hope here is, you know, you start striking up this relationship with this owner, and maybe they'll start including you in their social media campaigns as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, ideally, you're doing them a solid, and in turn, they backlink to your site, which again gives it more credibility and says to Google, hey, this is something relevant. And can you show the mobile version of it, Joe, just so that they can see?
Oh, absolutely. So let's go ahead and view the mobile version. So we'll start at the very top again. You know, you still got your logo up here. I'm just logged in right now, so ignore that. But this is what a typical visitor would see as they scroll through at a different coffee shop, learning about more coffee shops, right? You know, you can see some photos, and notice how the photos automatically scale and rearrange themselves, so they look great on the phone. You know, if you click on any of these, they'll open in a new tab.
Everyone, go to your competitor's blog and compare. Blows it out of the water. So
and don't forget, there's always a let's talk button at the bottom.
Yes. So that's a really key point I just want to emphasize is all throughout the site embedded are these contact forms that, again, route back to your CRM, and you can select who it should route to. So if you're an associate on a team and you want to build out your own blog or your own custom page, you can have it route to your Copper instance. So know that that's available. So I got quite a few questions about video, so I want to make sure. Deanna, we're so excited for you to be on the platform too, and of course we gave y'all Yoast. The best for y'all. So one question is, are we able to add video to the landing page? So the custom page we were just going over.
Yeah, right now we do have that ability, but the design is not optimal. So we're actually working on redesigning that so that way you can insert typically either YouTube or Vimeo URLs to display that video and play in. The reason why we're doing that is instead of you uploading it to our servers and doing that is you just have much broader reach on one of those platforms versus just self-hosting it on your site. But it's
Yes,
coming soon, folks.
so it's coming soon. So video today is available. It looks great on mobile. I think there's like some considerations around the design that they want to roll out, but it is available today. On the topic of video, Mark Dyer wants to know what's the best way to create a page that serves as a video library. We've actually had a partner do this. House Real Estate did a video library. He repurposed the blog. Do you want to share, Joe?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't sharing. So we'll go back to sharing. So actually, if you're in the blog here, there's a ton of video options. So if you just click on that plus sign again, in media, let's look YouTube.
So yeah, our suggestion today is if you want to do a lot of video content, really leveraging the blog. It's super built out for that, and as Joe's demonstrating right now, how it works.
Yeah, so in this case, you could upload your media. I don't have any videos to upload right now, but that's one way of doing it. I will look for the YouTube. There is a YouTube uh, block that should be appearing, but I do not see it. But the beauty of the YouTube block is you can actually create YouTube playlists and then, insert that into your blog, and they could actually navigate through that playlist on your page without ever going to YouTube, actually.
Yeah. So that's actually what we tend to recommend for people that want to do a lot of video content, making sure it all lives as a playlist, as Joe's describing on YouTube, and then it will just automatically play. And then Aaron Lewis said that he has a PSA about obtaining permission from other businesses. Yes. Ideally, people would be excited to have you highlight their stuff, but it's definitely great to have that conversation. Aaron said, is there an option to copy paste HTML directly so as to frame or embed content from another source?
For us, there actually is not a way for us to embed HTML directly. The reason for that is as we are building out these sites for like every single partner, and as we're growing, we've seen in the past, this is a hard learning we've had to experience. Some of the HTML may conflict with our code and break, and we may not know why, and it might take us a few days to actually track down the reason for that. So, if there's anything you want, let us know.
Yeah, Aaron, if there's something specific you're looking to accomplish, though, again, there's a robust roadmap for the website. So we're going to be continuing to add features. And it's also, there's like security elements that make it so that we want to make sure it goes through a proper vetting process. Awesome. Deanna said, this looks very Squarespacey familiar, which is great because it's super easy to navigate. Thank you. And then I just want to add, again, just going back to the blog, I can't double click on this enough. If you're going to be spending all this time generating all this content, and again, it won't take you very long because it's pretty like straightforward, but just remember to actually push it out and distribute it, whether it's pushing it out on LinkedIn or pushing it out on Facebook or putting it in your email newsletter. Because every person that comes to your site now will get cookied and start seeing your brand everywhere. And ideally, they're going to also fill out a contact form that goes straight to your CRM. So we have about 5 minutes left. And is there any other questions from the group? Anything that we can tackle in the last couple of minutes? Okay. I have an LMS that I'd love to embed content into. That was Aaron following up with what he's like trying to accomplish.
Oh, okay. Is LMS like learning management system?
I think a little high level for this walkthrough, Aaron, but we're happy to talk it through with you. You can, everyone, Justin made a really very clever, Justin. You can always use the side content on your YouTube playlist. So Justin shared that. And just, again, if you feel free to leverage anything that we produce for yourselves, of course. And then JB said, I'm excited to go back to WordPress without having to code, though. We're
I agree. I agree.
we're excited for you to help people buy and sell houses and not code too. Any other questions, folks, from the audience? I know this was pretty dense. And again, you're going to have different. Oh, yes. Roy said, can the associates create their own blog pages or do we share the blog with the office?
Yeah, so the associates will share they can create their own blog posts and they'll be titled as the author, but they will share that with the team. The exception there is if you have any associates that have their own subdomain, then the associate of that subdomain will own that blog.
Awesome. Any other questions, folks? A lot of this content I think is pretty new to some of you. And we will, of course, be able to provide training and please engage your business manager or reach out and let us know. We're working to build out the training library too with the learning and development team. Awesome. So any parting words for the group, Joe? Any key takeaways you want to hit on?
If there's anything I could say is when you're creating these custom pages, really focus on like one topic, be great at it, and share with the world. So that way, you start building up that reputation online. You've got a great reputation offline. Let's build up that online reputation.
Yes, I agree. The last part, if you're spending all this time tinkering on your site and then it never gets distributed, I mean, you want to have eyeballs on the great work that you're putting out there and the great work that you're doing. So, and the ways that you're giving back to your community and local businesses that you get permission from to highlight. So, and awesome. Aaron, it said, will partners have editorial control to approve posts before they get published?
That really is up to your relationship with your team members. So, we've built it in a way where partners do have the ability to override posts. So if that's part of the system that you want to put in place, then you can make that your process.
Yes. And for any of you folks that are on the older version of the site, I hope this gets you very excited to want to come over to the latest iteration of the site. Because it is really fantastic. They put a lot of thought into it, Joe's team. It's super beautiful, and it is, and it's just your ability to actually like engage it, build out your own content is just so much more robust. Since we're winding down the clock here, Dave Fratello wants to know: are there RSS feeds for the post?
For the post, yes, I believe there are. I could look into how to make them public or expose them.
Joe, Aaron Lewis, why didn't you ask me the question, Aaron? Aaron Lewis wants to know, should we buy more GameStop stock? Lol, 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 lol.
I am not a financial advisor, disclosure, but that's just been an interesting topic to follow for the past 48 hours. AMC is next, apparently. So
I love that you didn't ask me, though, if he should buy more GameStop. I know about that topic too, Aaron. Awesome, folks. So we really appreciate you all joining us today. And just again, thanks for the great questions and being super engaged. The back end of the site is very robust. So just, hope you all can log in and play around and generate some beautiful landing pages and some beautiful blogs. So.
Yeah, thank you so much, folks. I really appreciate your time. Feel free to talk to your business managers or me directly. My email is open.
Awesome.